So in this video we are going to be learning about the tracker object, and essentially we are going to be covering three topics, which is why tracker object is needed in Google Analytics and how it works there. Then we'll also see how the tracker object works in Google Tag Manager, and finally we'll come to see some issues that can emerge with single page applications and how to solve them or debug them or even get a workaround for them. So let's get started. Firstly, a tracker object, it just what it does is it extracts requests that we send to analytics, for us to collect data. So if you go to inspect here, we'll see how a tracker object is created. Firstly, let's go to console, and if I just scroll up here, I have a plugin installed, which is the GA debug plugin, and here we can see the command, which is GA create. Here it is creating a tracker object, and then this is the tracking ID, and finally this is the name for the tracker, right? So now it is important to give a name to the tracker, except for the first tracker that you create. For that it will use the local or unnamed tracker, but it is important to name the tracker because to send any hits you can use the name of the tracker. As you can see, it is sending a hit here, page view hit, and it is using the name of the tracker as prefix. So let's create our own tracker here first. It can be created through analytics or through Google Tag Manager, or even through the GA command, which I'll show you here now. So we'll create a tracker here, GA. So this is the command for creating a new tracker. As you can see, we are giving the command create. This will be the tracking ID. I have just set a dummy ID for now, and finally this is the name of the tracker, which is we are setting to new tracker, right? So you can see that it is creating a new tracker by the name of new tracker itself. So now you can check by sending a page view hit, suppose. So for that we'll write GA, then we'll write the name of the tracker, which is new tracker, and then as we saw, we are using the name of the tracker as a prefix, so prefix for send. So we are sending a page view hit here, page view, right? Now this will send a page view hit. So as you can see, the hit type was page view, and the tracking ID that we had set to a dummy ID, but it still shows here. These are just your measurement protocols, the different client ID, hit type, language, location, everything is your measurement protocol. And here you can see it shows this page view was not sent by GTM because we used the GA command method to send it, right? So then you can even set custom dimensions while you're sending a hit, which will then become global values for that key. So for example, if you were to send a GA, you were to set one new tracker dot set this time, because we are setting a custom dimension, right? So set dimension 1, and then put the value of it. Suppose we want it to be logged in, right? So we are saying that this is the command, GA command, and then we are saying new tracker dot set dimension 1 as logged in. This is your custom dimension, right? Running command, logged in. Now if I send any hit, it will automatically have the value of dimension 1 as logged in. So let's see, GA, let's see this. As you can see, for the page view hit, the dimension 1 value has already been set to logged in, because we had set it as logged in, so it becomes a global value, right? Then if I were to send any event, for example, let's say I send new tracker dot send, let's say the hit type event, and the event category to be ABC, and action to be CBA, right? You can see the dimension 1 is logged in. Now this value stays global for this key, right, unless you overwrite it for a specific hit. So for example, if I send a page view hit and inside which I overwrite the value for this, so for that hit the value will be the new value. I'll show you. So GA new tracker dot send. I'm sending a page view hit, but then I am saying that dimension 1 should be log out. Alright, so this is how what I'm doing here is I'm overwriting the global value which is logged in for only for this hit, and I'm setting it to logged out. Alright, so if I hit there's been some, oh, I forgot to close it. Need to add a single quote here. Right. So now you can see our page view hit was sent, but for this the value of dimension 1 is logged out, but it will only be for this specific hit because I had overwritten it in this hit. Right now, again, if I were to send a normal page view hit without overwriting, the value would again be logged in. Let's see. Let's send a page view hit. Right, as you can see, dimension 1 value is logged in because it was the global value. Now you can if you want to change the global value, you can do that as well, but you'll have to set it again. So GA, yeah, so here where we had set it as logged in, you can set it to logged out, and from this point forward your default value will be logged out and your global value will be logged out. So GA send page view, yeah, now the dimension 1 value will be logged out. Right, then one thing to keep in mind is you can only create one tracker with one name, meaning that you have to set different names for every new tracker that you create. So for example, we had created this, right? This is the tracker that we had created, but if I were to try and create another tracker with the same name, it would give me an error saying that duplicate tracking name. So we need to do it, and we need to set a separate name. Suppose we name it as newer tracker. You can see a new tracker was created. Right. Then you can also fetch values of any measurement protocols that are there using get by command. So GA get by name, and then you write the name of the tracker here. Suppose I write new tracker, the first tracker that we had created, and then you'll write what you want. So suppose I want the value of dimension 1. Right, now it will give us the value which is logged out. Similarly, if I want something else, let's say I want title, I can get title as well. Now let's say I want tracking ID, I'll just write tracking ID. I've gotten the tracking ID that I had set. So this is why you need a tracking object in Google Analytics, and this is how you can use it using the GA command. Now let's see how it works in Google Tag Manager. So Google Tag Manager also uses a tracker object, mainly because it also loads analytics.js. And what Google Tag Manager does is it applies all the fields to the tracker and not to individual hits, right? So you might ask, how does it prevent values from leaking from one tag to another, like from one hit to another when new tags are fired? how does it prevent values from leaking from that one tag to the next? So what it does is it creates a new tracker object for every single tag. So if I were to go to preview, so what GTM does is it creates new tracker objects for every single tag that's firing, so that the values don't leak over from one tag to the next. And even if the same tag is firing multiple times, it will create new tracker for each time it fires. So let's say we go to inspect and in console. Right, ga dot all dot length. So for now, one tag is firing, so it's creating one tracker object. But as I said, for every tag that fires, GTM will create a new tracker object, and you can see that now when it's creating a tracker object, you can see that there's create the tracking ID and some values that need to be set, cookie domain auto, and then there's finally the name, right? And again, so if we like if we go back to Google Tag Manager, let's go to variables and see what happens if we set a tracker name for all the tags that are firing. So for now only one analytics tag is firing, right? So let's just create tags. Yeah, only one universal analytic tag has been created. So let's create another one. Let's say I create another universal analytics tag, and the ID the tracking ID. Copy back here. Okay, the universal analytics settings. And first one was set on all pages, right? So second one, let's say we set it on all click. All clicks. Save. Right. So now let's go to preview. And now if I click, yeah, the page view and the click, you can see the click has fired 2 times. So one time for page view and 2 times for click. So that means it is creating 3 tracker objects. Go to inspect now, console, GA, get all. Yeah, as you can see, it is creating 3 tracker objects now, because as I said that even if it's the same tag that's firing multiple times, Google Tag Manager will create a tracker object for each time that it fires. So this is how it works in Google Tag Manager. Now let's say if I were to set a name, let's say I were to go to variables, and if I just some analytics, I go here, more settings. If I set a tracker name, suppose I set it test, so all the trackers will be named test. Save. Now if I were to go to preview, inspect, yeah, this is where firstly the tracker is being created for the page view. Then click, yeah, this is again for the page view. So this is where the values are getting inserted for the click. Now what happens is the values from the previous hit, which was just page view, they leak into this hit. The values, they leak into the values of this hit if we set same name for both the trackers, right? Let's see. Yeah, so this is where it was trying to create the second uh, you know click command or click hit, but it didn't let it create because we already had one with the name test, right? The first one, which was page view, it was already named test. So for the click event, it didn't let GTM create a new tracker object because we had already set the name to test and it duplicate tracking name. So what happens is it will still pass on the values, but the values from the previous hit will leak into the values of the next hit. So to prevent this exact thing, it provides a new tracker object every time a tag is fired. Let's go back to our settings and remove the tracker name. Save. So now if I were to check, I wouldn't get the error. Actually, let me just turn this off. So let's go to inspect now. In console. Yeah, now I'm not getting any errors while creating a new tracker object because I have removed the I had removed the set tracker name as test. So now it is giving its own name to the tracker object. So here you can see it is GTM12, whereas if I go down, yeah, you can see it's GTM43, creating new tracker. So it's giving new names to the new tracker that it's creating. It's not the same name that is being set to all the trackers. So this is what prevents data from getting leaked from the previous hit to the next hit. Now let's look into some issues that might occur with single page applications. So this mainly happens in single page applications. So when you have certain uh, you know when you have certain ad campaigns and you have referral IDs for them, right? So when a user goes to the site through a referral ID, you have that ID showing up in the URL. So what happens is analytics knows that this person came to the site through a ID, but then in single page applications, when you refresh the page or the URL changes, what happens is the referrer changes from Google to the site itself, and then where analytics should be showing that it is coming from a Google ad campaign, it just shows that it's coming from the URL of the site, which means the referral is changing. So this is called rogue referral. I'll show you what it means. So for example, let's say I open my site. analytics, if I go to content, so we can see the active page, the page title, and if we go to traffic sources, we can see that the medium was referral and source was tagassistant.com. So this is not coming through any campaign, but let's say if I were to go to the about page and copy this, right? Okay, firstly, I think it will change to about page. Yeah, and now let's say I were to amplify, right? And if I right click here, inspect, yep, edit as HTML, and if I just paste the link to my site here and question mark GCLID, which is just your Google campaign ID, set it to 1234, right? And then if I click on it, if I refresh here, traffic sources, yeah, you can see it has changed to CPC, which means it's coming through a campaign now, just because I had entered the GCLID. Alright, but what happens is, if I were to, let's say, console, say I change it to something as welcome.html, right? Yeah, URL is changed. Yeah, now we can see that the referral is the previous URL which was there, about HTML, but the referral still should be Google, because we are still coming to the site through a referral ad campaign, right? But that's not the case, so this is called your rogue referral. Now to fix this, you could go back to Google Tag Manager and you could go into tags and set up a data layer push tag. So we know what we need to do for that. Go to tag configuration and inside it go to custom HTML. Alright, now here we'll need to create a data layer push. So firstly start with your script, then we know window prefix data layer dot push, then we need to say that original location, the key original location, we are setting it to document location, which is the current location, right? And then we need to close this up, and finally and your script, and we'll name this as DLP original location. Alright, and trigger you need to set it on all page. Then we need to go to variables and inside new need to create a firstly data layer variable to get the value that we had just pushed into the data layer. So we'll name it as original location, exactly as we had put it there, and DLV original location. Let's save. Then new variable, and this time you'll create a custom JavaScript variable in which create a function first, and then what we are going to do is we'll say return TLV original location, or if that is not found, then we need to get the current location. So what this is doing is either return the DLV original location, the data layer variable that we had just pushed, or if that is not found, then give us the current location, right? And we'll name it as CJ original location, right? And then you need to create another variable which you can get from a template. So firstly you'll need to download the template. You'll have to go to templates and then search gallery and then search for URL 2.0 and download it, and then go to variables. And I've already created this variable, but you'll need to go to new variable and it will show up here. So I've created one current page and search. So it will just give us the query string and the path, because that's all we need. Then we'll go back, and in your Google Analytics settings variable, under fields to set, we'll set our location to the custom JavaScript original location variable, and our page we'll set it to the current page and search variable, and you'll be done. And this is how you'll be able to solve the issue of rogue referral, as we call it. So yeah, in this video we saw firstly how why tracker object is needed and how it works in Google Analytics. Then we saw how it works in Google Tag Manager and how Google Tag Manager prevents data from being leaked from one hit to another. Then finally we saw an issue that could arise, which is rogue referral, especially in single page applications, and how to solve it. So that's all for the video. Thank you.